All right, on this episode of the Paranormal Mind podcast, we are going to be talking about a cult, the Children of God.
I've heard of the Children of God. I do not know much about it. So here we
Love a
go.
good cult.
What's up, everybody? Welcome. What in the world is that?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Paranormal Mind podcast.
That sounded like, I know why you do that now.
What?
I know exactly why you do that now. To take my voice away and use your own voice. How dare you? Oh, and I hear it again. It sounded like I was in a trash
Yeah, this
can.
one is called Megaphone. Megaphone.
Yeah, see, it only does it for mine, not yours.
Yeah, I know, and I don't know why.
Which is funny. You know, I need my own soundboard, man. We need to like up our stuff.
Yeah.
So that way
Sound effects.
I can actually prank you with all this crap. Good Lord, you throw me off my rhythm. But before we get started, this episode is brought to you by our sponsor of season 2, Horn Paranormal.
Horn Paranormal.
See, you're missing it, dude.
I know. I got to make
Where's
a
the
soundbite
audience?
for them.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay, that's enough. All right. Good job. All right. But yeah, they are our official sponsor, and they are great.
Yeah, they are, man. They're fantastic.
They specialize in really cool paranormal gear, and they supply all of our giveaways every month on the Paranormal Mind podcast. No. On our Patreon.
Yep.
Patreon.com/Searchers Believe. How dare you, Mandy? I'm going to call you out right now.
I'm trying to fix y'all's socials.
Amanda.
I am working on y'all's social media.
That's when you know. That's when you know it's
Estelle.
bad is when we say Amanda.
Y'all, we
How
got
dare you,
producer
Amanda.
Mandy in the house.
That's right.
She's doing dual duties. She's producing social media.
That is
That's
true.
right.
At the
That's
same
true.
moment.
But yeah, back to Horn Paranormal, man. I love seeing the way their minds work and building this equipment. Excuse
about
me.
to burp?
I was about to burp.
Oh.
Ugh.
Ew.
What?
Yeah, you love it so much. You sounded like you were about to puke all over
Oh,
the
yeah.
place.
I like it. Oh, yeah. I could love it.
Yeah, Horn Paranormal is Scott and Kim Horn.
Yep.
They are really great people, but they specialize in paranormal equipment, and they allow us to give away stuff every month on our Patreon. Searchers
It's
Believe.
patreon.com
forward
slash
Searchers Believe.
Believe. Yep.
Yeah,
That's right.
So if you want to be a part of that, subscribe to our Patreon, and our $25 a month tier members, which we're going to try to work on some
Yep.
things in
Yep.
the future. But as of right now, if you're a $25 a month tier member, you are entered to win every single month
Yep.
giveaway. And those giveaways lately have been the SLS,
Yep.
which is a $350 value
Every month.
that you're
We gave
getting
one
every month.
away today.
Yeah. So another thing that I want to mention is we are going to Virginia City April 12th through the 14th
Yep.
for the WashoCon, and Horn Paranormal sponsored that. And what we're doing for the first
This is
20
insane.
for the first 25 people that purchase a ticket, you're going to walk away from that event with a free SLS with a hard case. That is
In your hands.
Unheard of. 25 of
Not
them.
even a contest. You just buy the ticket, you get the SLS.
And the ticket is $299 for
Which is-
2 nights.
Which is less than the SLS.
And
is.
again, the SLS is $350. So you
what
get
we're
a really
saying
good
is
deal.
It's a no-brainer.
Right. So get your tickets. By the time this episode airs, hopefully we'll
Yep.
you know,
Hopefully they'll still be around.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I don't think they will. be.
They're going pretty quick right now.
But you can go to soulcircleparanormal.com and click on Soul Circle events, and that's where you'll find all the information to get your ticket. All right, so let's get into this story. I was talking about the children of God,
All right.
and you better strap in because this is a wild one, buddy.
I love a good cult.
Yeah, I bet you do. So we are talking about the Family International, right? This thing kicked off in 1968, started by David Brent Berg. It's like a chameleon, man, changing names over the years. It was Teens for Christ.
Teens
for Christ. The children.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why'd you put your hand up like that?
It just seems you should be. It sounds like a name you need to be excited about.
Yeah.
Teens for Christ.
God. You, Mandy, did you see? Do it again one more time.
Yeah, Teens for Christ.
I mean, he's not wrong.
You are the typical nerdy teen Christian. You got
Exactly,
the nerdy teen
for real.
Christian
The
vibes.
kid
For
whose
real.
mom made him go to vacation Bible
Yeah,
school.
for real.
Yeah,
He had that camp counselor.
It's that Wednesday evening youth group.
Yeah.
yeah. So it was called Teens for Christ, then the Children of God, and a bunch of other names, right?
I feel like the Children of God seems really dark in comparison, though.
Yeah. Now here's where it does get dark, though. Okay. Former members are coming out saying this group was a nightmare, an authoritarian cult with some really messed up stories, and some stories about child abuse.
Oh,
It's
God.
really heavy, and it's something that really
Yeah.
sticks with you. Some really kind of gross things out of this stuff. So these guys were everywhere at their peak, even had some famous members like River and Joaquin Phoenix
Oh, I do remember him being on it.
and Rose McGowan, which I'm not.
Let's be
too
honest here.
surprised.
Joaquin Phoenix, he's a little out there anyway.
A little?
Yeah, but
A little.
he is
Makes some
an
dope
incredible
movies.
He's an incredible actor, though. I mean,
True.
incredible.
That
But
is
yeah,
true.
he is out. He is out there. But he is a pretty incredible
When
actor.
Johnny Cash is like the normal role that you've played, that's saying something.
No, dude, he was the creepy bad guy on Gladiator. Excuse me.
Oh no, he was cringy too.
He was cringy.
Ugh.
Didn't he like have a thing for his sister or
Yeah,
something? It was like,
yeah.
but you know what? That was before. It was Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones.
That's
was
true.
Cool. And speaking of, real quick, sorry, segue. Game of Thrones. I just finished the entire series.
Really?
I'm so sorry.
Freaking amazing, but I hated the last episode.
I don't
You
know.
and everybody else.
Bran
you
the
and everybody
Broken,
else.
give me a freaking break. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about,
Oh,
watch-
come on. I mean,
watch
it's
the
been
show.
like years now.
But Bran the Broken, out of I would have rather seen anybody else.
I don't know how anybody pays attention to that show because there's so much going on in it. That was been I've tried to watch it twice. And I just couldn't.
wait.
man.
How far into it did you get though?
I didn't even get through the first season.
Okay, so let me tell you this. So I tried watching the Game of Thrones probably 4 different times
Mm-hmm.
and didn't get past like the 3rd or 4th episode. You had to push through. Once you push through, you're going to be hooked.
Okay.
Push through.
Oh, I'm sure I'll revisit it, man. I'm sure I will.
It's an amazing show. But the last episode pissed me off so
I remember
much.
when it aired and everybody was so mad. And I'm like, I'm glad I quit.
I've been watching this show, and video guy Michael back here would get a appreciation for it.
I
It's
thought he
called-
told you to watch it.
No.
Like, I thought it was a Michael
called-
recommendation.
It's called Tacoma, and it's about
Tacoma FD.
Yeah, it's about the Tacoma Fire Department. It's a very like office film.
Office.
No, it's Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but fire
Yeah,
bar.
yeah.
Were
But
you
they do
office-
rip off
Were
of
you
Brooklyn
channeling
Nine-Nine a
Sean
little bit.
Connery right there? What were you doing?
I don't know.
Let's
man.
watch The Office.
You need to do the deep voice.
Let's watch The Office. Alright, hold up. Turn it off.
All right, let's go back into the episode. We're getting sidetracked. All right, we're talking about the children of God, the weird cult, all of that stuff.
We gonna
okay?
do it.
Let's get back into it. All right. So, what was their message? Do you have any
Teens
idea?
for Christ.
No.
Dang it.
Their message was salvation into the world vibes and total distrust of what they called the system.
Mm.
It's like they took the whole fundamentalist playbook and ran with it, predicting this brutal world government and the second coming of Christ, right? Which I grew up in the church and it was kind of the same messages, which was weird.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But let's hold on a minute. It gets even crazier than that. In 1976, they start this thing called flirty fishing. Get this. They use sex as a tool for evangelism. That stirred up some serious controversy, apparently.
Right.
So David Berg, the head honcho, who also went by Moses David, how original, was like this prophetic.
Moses.
He was like this prophetic leader to them. And after he died in 94, his widow, Karen Zerby, took over.
It's almost like you read that out of a book.
Yep. And she's in it with her husband, Steve Kelly, or King Peter. King Peter. Excuse me,
Wow.
King Peter.
There's only one King Peter in this house. Oh, God.
Can you get a little more original than that? Like the first one was, hey, I am Moses David. You know how I got that name? Two of my heroes in the faith is Moses and David.
Bro, the only thing I think about when you say King Peter is King Dingling.
I'm pretty sure that's what you think about.
You know the saying, like, I'm King Dingling here.
No, I've never heard.
You never heard
I've
of that?
never heard that
Yeah,
saying before
yeah.
in my life.
Mandy, back me up, man. Where you at, man?
I've never heard that in my life.
Thank you for backing me up.
King Dingling?
King Ding. Who runs
I've
around
heard
saying
like
I'm
the-
King Dingling
Yeah,
around?
The Chuck
like
Berry
bosses and-
song. Is
bosses
it Chuck
and-
Berry?
Does he have a song like that? Maybe that's where it came from.
Okay, I think you dreamed this.
No.
Yeah, no, there's a song by Chuck Berry where he's like, my dingling. I want you to play with my dingling. And he pretends like it's a toy. Like, for real.
This show is
That
taking
is
a
true.
Really
I don't
weird
know
turn.
about King Dingling.
Yeah, no, I mean, a
We're
lot of
talking.
supervisors
Hold on a minute.
say
We're
stuff
talking
like that.
about. We're talking about flirty fishing or flirty whatever, and then is using sex for Christ. I guess.
She's the one that said, I want you to play with my dingling.
No, it's Chuck Berry that said that. It's Chuck Berry.
What did he say?
We promise we do not drink on the show. We just drink heavily afterwards. All right. All right. So anyway, his wife, the Moses David guy, he dies. His wife takes over, right?
Yeah.
And then gets with the King Dingaling or King Peter.
You did it. That's
So this duo's running the show, and the allegations of child abuse just keep piling up.
Okay.
Unfortunately, sad.
Yeah.
Berg's brand of preaching, Moses David, his brand of preaching
Mhm.
was a wild mix of traditional Christian stuff with that 60s counterculture flavor, lots of apocalyptic talk,
Ooh,
doom
I
and
love it.
gloom for America, and calling out mainstream churches.
Talk to me.
It's kind of like today. Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
So he's pushing for this.
Normal Tuesday.
He's pushing for this return to early Christian communal living, like the hippies in the 60s.
Okay.
That's what his whole goal was. All right. So he starts gathering these born again hippies in a coffee house in Huntington Beach, California.
Let's meet up at the McDonald's.
A coffee house, dude.
Okay. Got to be more civilized.
Look, just because McDonald's has a McCafe does not mean that they're a coffee house.
You didn't get the King Dingling special.
Oh Lord, thank God this is our last episode we're filming. All right, so they meet up in this coffee shop, right?
Yeah.
Then in 1969, Berg claims he's got this revelation, all right,
Oh, God.
about a massive earthquake hitting California. And bam, he's on the road with his followers. There's no earthquake. No earthquake happened. No earth
They were like, we
shattering
got to get out of
earthquake.
here.
Like California, oh wow, you got this revelation.
Earthquake?
California has earthquakes all the time. Like, what are you
No.
talking about? So anyway, these guys are out there hitting the streets, spreading their hippie message, I
Right.
guess, their Christ loving hippie message, handing out pamphlets.
Teens for Christ.
Yeah. They set up communes, which they call colonies, in different cities.
Ugh.
Berg's leading the charge with these Mo letters. That's what they call them.
Mo letters.
Mo letters. Like, I want some Mo letters.
Can I get
These
some
people were
Mo's?
so creative.
I want some Mo letters. Give me some Mo.
Give me some Mo, please.
God. Anyway, it's nearly 3,000 of them over 24 years laying down his teachings. He's telling his followers he's God's prophet for the modern world. So
I mean,
King Peter is this prophet.
he is. Ed. I'm not even going to continue
I
down that
know.
road.
I hope you don't, because I know where this is going. So, and get this guy's open about his own flaws, right?
Yeah.
Like admitting he's an alcoholic in one of these letters,
Mm.
which is something like if you're leading a spiritualist movement, I don't think that you would want to go to that.
He's
Like,
got to
as-
appeal to the people, man. He's got to get
I
on their level.
I guess wanting to be relatable, but still, like,
He just wanted
it's
to
like,
leave
hey,
out
I'm a
the.
raging alcoholic, and I'm leading you to Christ.
He's
This
going to
is
leave out the
weird.
child abuse part of that, though. Okay,
Yeah. Ugh.
that's too much.
Yeah. But then things take a turn. In 1972, Berg drops this letter, "Flee as a bird to your mountain." It's like a signal to his followers to get out of America, saying God's going to destroy the U.S. Yeah. So they start spreading globally, hitting Europe, Latin America, East Asia. And by the mid 1970s, they're claiming to have colonies in 70 countries. They're spreading like wildfire. Yeah. So here's where it gets wild. In 1976, Berg introduces flirty fishing, like we're talking about. And
Does he really call it that?
Yeah, flirty fishing. It's exactly what it sounds like. Female members are using sex to attract new followers. So this practice starts in Berg's inner circle in 1973 and goes public in 1976. So he's sending these women out to bring people to these gatherings, right? Jump to 1978 and everything changes. The Children of God is no more.
Oh,
Berg rebrands it as the Family of Love. That's right. He shakes things up and kicks out hundreds of leaders over misconduct. And there's this whole internet strife about flirty fishing. But despite the turmoil, they keep growing, spreading out more internationally. Like, so I want to talk about it for a minute. It's crazy to me that you have all of this misconduct and
Right.
you have all of these things that are going awry in your belief system,
Right.
whatever. And it's in those times you grow exponentially. How does that happen? Like, do people join it just because, oh, this is the trendy new thing? Or is there something
I don't know,
masked,
man.
There's something masked in the deception. Like there's something where people gravitate to these things. Like they feel like they need to be a part of something. And we saw this with Jim Jones,
oh yeah.
you know, the whole where like drinking the Kool-Aid that came from all of that.
It is
you know?
truly amazing how they can create such a gigantic following and like get into such like a high wealth state because
Well,
of
like
it. It's
the Manson
unreal.
too. Like you think about Charles Manson, it's the
Yeah,
same thing. Like you look at some of the interviews that he's done, and it's absolutely you look
Yeah.
at him, you're like, this guy. It's some of the things he says sometimes can go borderline. You're like, oh, I can relate. I can understand where he's coming from.
Right.
And then he goes off the rails like 5 seconds later, and you're
Right.
like, oh God. But you know, these people, like tons of people, just gravitated. to him.
Yeah. I
There was
guess they
something
just
about
try
it.
and appeal normal at first, and then they wait a bit to let the crazy out.
I guess so. It's crazy. This flirty fishing thing ramps up even more in 1978. All right. They're even using escort agencies in some,
Oh my God.
in some places to meet people. Yeah. Berg's pushing this narrative hard, like with a 1980 Mo letter titled "The Devil Hates Sex, but God Loves It." That was the title.
Yes.
That was the title of the letter. So,
Yes, sir.
according to their own stats, they're saying over 100,000 people found salvation through this, through
bet
this
they
one
did.
letter in
I
1980.
bet they did. Yeah.
Through 19, and that's why
King Peter got him.
that's
You
why
walked into it telling him that.
I know.
You just were asking for it.
But
at
that's
that
why I
point.
think some people look at it as, hey, I want to be a part of this next trendy thing.
Right.
Like, I think a lot of our modern day stuff, there's a lot of things that trend,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Of course.
people jump on it, not really knowing what they believe, but they jump on it because they think it's cool at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
And now with the whole thing with social media,
Oh, it's unreal, dude.
it spreads even more like wildfire at that time, because they're like, okay, everybody is talking positively about this. I need to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I need to be like these people, you know?
And before you know it, they're out there beating each other up over Stanley Cups.
My
Yeah,
God.
that's a whole other story in and of itself. But, you know, no cup, especially a $35, $40 cup, is not worth like getting beat over, okay? Or beating somebody over. Anybody
If you
listening
want-
out there.
If you want the cup and you got the money for it, buy it.
Yeah, buy it.
Don't
But
be violent with
yeah,
people.
yeah, don't
that's
be.
all.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Okay, look, and again, we've talked about TikTok quite a bit, but TikTok kind of boosted this company in a
Yeah.
lot of ways.
Oh yeah, they're leading the charge. And
So social media can be
stuff.
great for business, and it can also have negative effects as well.
Like
So, and we
everything,
see
yeah.
that all the time.
yeah,
So moving into the 80s and 90s, going back to this story, the family, as they're called now, is going through some changes. They're saying they loosened
welcome
up.
to the family.
They're saying they loosened up their conduct standards during the family of love phase, and this is going to be very cringy for
The
you.
family of love.
Yeah. So, but in the late 80s, they're tightening things up again.
Okay.
They're trying to clean up their act, especially for the kids in the group.
Do it for the kids,
Right?
man.
Yeah. For the kids, the teens for
The
Christ.
teens for Christ.
So let's see, where was I going with this? So in 1989, they're making it clear no more adult child sexual contact.
Get out of
No
that.
more.
None.
That's an immediate boot out of the group.
We were doing it, but you know,
yeah. So that's what blows my mind. This
New year,
policy.
new
it's
me.
it's like, look, no more adult minor sexual contact. I know we allowed it before, but no
We
more.
don't now.
we're cleaning up.
We're cleaning up.
We're getting with the times.
God loves sex, but not that type of sex.
Not with children.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Gross,
if you
man.
think about it, like, you know, a lot of these families and stuff like that, they go to these churches and these affiliations to feel like, okay, this is safe for my family. And then these kids get you know, taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And they're innocent, and all of it is a sad, sad situation.
Why does that stuff happen so much in religion, bro? It's like terribly.
Well, I think it's because a lot of predators and things like that,
Yeah.
they prey on people, but how they start is they gain their trust. And I think in situations like this, you gain a group of people's trust and like, hey, I am called to a higher calling. You need to trust everything I say. You need to follow me. And I think they get that trust.
I got you.
I'm
Built
not
up.
trying to call them out, but there is a major church that had a lot of issues with that, with little children and people in power. I'm not trying to go up against that church because it's huge.
Should I say it?
I'm not going to say the church name, but everybody knows who I'm talking about. But
King Peter
that's how
could
they
be
do
listening,
it.
though. I don't want
Yeah, we won't.
the King
but
Peter
yeah.
to hear me.
But
It exploits children
yeah.
and people who are not, maybe strong-minded or whatever, that are easily influenced.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's sad.
The whole situation, especially when you're wanting something to bring you comfort and you're looking for something more in your life, and then you go up against this and get taken advantage of. It's just a bad
It's tricky, man,
situation.
because like you feel like they know, right? So if they're recruiting people and they come across them and they talk to them and they know that some of these people are just weak-minded and they know they can take advantage of them.
That's what predators
But they
do
don't
too.
care.
They'll prey on those that are vulnerable. They'll prey on those
Yeah.
that Yeah, well, it all boils down to the vulnerability. They're like, if you're vulnerable enough, they'll prey on you because you're weak in that sense.
Yeah, and I don't mean that even to say weak-minded
you're
or
not
weak.
It's
as-
just
Well, the
Yeah.
vulnerability
right. Innocent.
makes you weak in that moment.
Yeah,
innocent or
exactly.
naive
Right.
or
Exactly.
It makes you weak in that moment. And
Right.
it's something that where they can.
We're just not
pounce.
calling people who are
No, no, no,
victims
no.
weak.
No.
We don't want to come across that way.
Yeah, let me be clear.
Yeah.
No.
No. You're have a moment of weakness and people take advantage of
Correct.
it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So anyway, let's jump into it. But here's a twist with all of this stuff. Okay. And I talk about twists all the time, but this is crazy. In 2005, a spokesperson admits that before 1986, there wasn't a clear policy against this stuff. So against the child adult thing, there was no clear policy.
I'm pretty sure it was like in law somewhere.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But they're acknowledging they were acknowledging that there were some seriously messed up things happening with minors during that transitional phase. Yeah.
What the heck?
So
man?
fast forward to the early 90s and they're breaking their silence. They're inviting reporters, they're inviting religious scholars, inviting a Washington Post journalist to check out their commune in California. They're like, hey, look, we cleaned up our act. Now you can come give
Show
us
and
media
tell.
coverage. Yeah. So they're portraying themselves as this wholesome, friendly community. They're big on mainstream Christian values, you know?
Listen, everyone, we know how all this works. Oh, there's a tour coming. Let's clean up.
Yeah. Well, they're big on the mainstream Christian values. So they're anti-abortion, anti-drug, you know the drill. Like
yeah.
all of what
Handpicked,
the mainstream
right?
stand
Yeah.
for. Yeah. So then Berg dies in 94, like I said, and Karen Zerby, also known as Mama Maria.
Yeah. Ooh.
Their names, it's just crazy, but Mama,
Mama
Maria
Maria
takes over. 1995 rolls around and they drop the love charter, laying out the responsibilities and rights of their members. But here's where it gets really heavy, okay? And we're going to talk about this. A British court case in 94 and 95 digs up the group's dark past. And we're talking about abusive sexual practices with minors, harsh punishment for kids if they don't step in line. The judge says, yeah, they've cleaned up their act by 95, but they got to stop all corporal punishment in the UK and ditch any of Berg's writings. So no mo of the mo letters.
No mo.
That led to the abuse in the first place. So we're jumping all over the place, but fast forward to 2004 and we're in the era of the Family International again. Okay.
Okay.
They've got this love charter as their rule book, laying out everything for their members. Okay. How they act, how they need to treat people, the works. All right. They're reviewing their homes every 6 months, making sure they're up to standard. So they're having
You ain't
somebody
got no
come
kids
and check
lurking
it out.
around here. do you?
Yeah.
God dang.
Yeah,
man.
so there's a shift towards single family homes, more self-employment.
Yeah.
Okay. But did y'all hear that noise just now?
The siren?
Oh, okay.
It's just
At first it sounded like a scream. I was like, oh God.
it's the natural sounds of Macon, Georgia.
That's right.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really out there, okay? Their recent teachings get even weirder, all right? They're talking about spiritual weapons and spirit helpers, which include, get this, angels,
Oh boy.
mythical figures,
Yeah.
even celebrities like Elvis and Marilyn Monroe.
Are they angels? Is that what they're trying to
they're
say?
helpers.
Helpers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, hey, we're gonna employ Elvis for this one, you know?
Didn't he die on his toilet?
Yeah, you're gonna trigger a lot of people that love Elvis. So in 2024, we're gonna have a low level of listeners after this.
Do more in 2024.
Yeah, so they're bringing in figures like Aphrodite and Merlin.
Dang.
Yeah,
Aphrodite.
yeah. So it's a wild mix of religion, myth, and pop culture. They're just bringing in
They're
all the
just-
stops at this
yeah.
point. You know, it's whatever. Then there's this thing about the keys of the kingdom, is what they call it. They're saying these are like spiritual power ups, originally given.
I get an upgrade.
Originally given to Peter and the disciples, and now they're using them in prayers for miracles.
Yeah.
This stuff is published in comic book style magazines. All right. This is how they publish it, making it easy for everyone, even kids, to understand, which again irritates me because they're preying on
Yeah.
the innocence of
Yeah, it's
these
really
kids
sad.
in another way. It's like indoctrination to an extreme. Like, hey, we're going to make this cool little comic book for you
Right.
and teach you all of our ways and how you need to act and how you need to think. But hold on, it gets even wilder than that. Okay. It's crazy. They have this concept called loving Jesus. This is weird. Okay. It's the idea of having an intimate sexual relationship with Jesus.
Oh God.
They're taking this
Whoa.
whole bride of Christ idea to a
They
whole
don't feel
new
like that's a
level.
little sacrilegious.
No.
This was all funny at first for me, but now I'm like grossed out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird. And this is why on the Paranormal Mind, we talk about all the strange and
Yeah.
unusual and the crazy.
It's
Like,
always,
you know?
always 100%. The strangest stuff is always people. People are crazy.
Yeah. So you think, like, a lot of times people ask me too, like, what's the craziest experience you've had, like, in the paranormal? And 9 times out of 10, I tell them, like, it's nothing compared to my interactions with some people,
Yeah.
Right. No, for sure.
because that's what you need to be afraid of.
Yep.
Is how they treat you sometimes and how they interact with you. And, that's the scary part. So anyway, back to this, we're talking about the loving Jesus and the having a sexual,
Let's, yeah.
having a sexual relationship with Christ, which again is another sacrilegious. I would say it's sacrilegious. That's
I don't even get it, man.
wow. They're encouraging members to imagine Jesus is with them during sex, during masturbation. Guys are even told to think of themselves as women to avoid homosexual relationships, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
You can
What?
think about Jesus, but you can't. Okay.
Right,
Okay.
right.
If you can dream it, you can be it.
The literature on this is so graphic. They're worried about it being classified as porn in conservative countries.
Oh, I wonder. Yeah.
They're very concerned about it being considered that. So
Yeah.
now, despite these bizarre teachings, they're facing a ton of criticism, especially from ex-members and the anti-cult movement, were rightfully so. They're accused of lying, sexual deviance,
What?
and even messing with politics
Unbelievable.
in developing countries. They've been accused. Good Lord, help me. They've been accused of horrific abuse, with some ex-members writing books about their experiences. There's even an organization called Free COG, is COG, founded to free members from the group.
Children of God.
Mhm. Stories from those who grew up in the family are harrowing. It's
I just want to talk about the
We're-
fact that you had to specify.
I know.
COG.
yeah. We're talking about these members talked about sexual abuse from a young age, the beatings, total isolation from the outside world. Why are you laughing at this? It's like a horror show. Anyway, and the pressure inside the group
Yeah, it's
was
true.
totally intense. They had terms like shiners for those good at raising money for the organization, and shamers for those who weren't good at it. You miss your quota, and you're not eating dinner.
Dang.
Period. It's brutal.
Gotta
Brutal
hit the
environment.
streets.
Yeah, sad.
Dude,
It's
that's
a sad
crazy.
situation. So that's where the Family International is at now. It's a story of transformation from this hippie free love movement to a group with these bizarre, almost fantastical beliefs in a dark, troubled past.
I don't feel like they've been hitting the mark at all
No.
with any of their transformations.
No, it's one of those things that's just hard to wrap your head around,
Yeah,
It's-
for sure.
It's unfortunate that these things happen and these groups develop. But again, it's a reminder, like, be open-minded, think critically for yourself. Don't be a follower, be a leader. Like, you go and form your own opinions, because then you can fall into traps like this. And before you know it, you're down a rabbit hole that it's very hard to dig yourself out of.
You can
So,
believe what people say, but make your own decisions about how it affects you.
I agree. And on that note, Thank you for listening to the Paranormal Mind podcast. Y'all are amazing. Sorry for this subject matter. This was
Yeah.
a little intense this time. But again, like I said, we go on all sides of the
Yeah.
spectrum, and we want to talk about it and bring some of these stories to light so you can do your own research and, figure things out for yourself at times. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We appreciate y'all. Until the next one, talk to you later.
See ya.